get it on, got to get it on, no choice but to get it on. Mandate, get it on. Welcome everybody to today's presentation of Meet Splash Virtual, our live weekly product demo. I am your co-host, Zach Napolitano. I work on the product marketing team here at Splash. And joining me today is a senior account executive from the UK by way of New York City and dear friend of mine, Julie Feldman. Julie, how's it going today?
Hey, Zach. It's going great. I started my day with a nice Peloton run and it's not raining. So little complaints on my end here.
Yeah, I feel you. My complaint is I also like to work out. I tweak my lower back a little bit, so I'm a game time decision for CrossFit this evening. Otherwise, I'm doing great. And I am very excited to have everyone here for today's demo, the 17th day of February, the year 2021, on a cold but sunny day here in Long Island, New York. The reasons for my excitement, well, this is pretty much the only human interaction I get all week, and if it gets to be Julie and all of y'all, I'm happy. And two, we'll be taking a tour of the Splash platform, specifically discussing its most powerful and versatile virtual solution. So if you are new to Splash or new to our virtual offering, we offer a product called the Virtual Event Page. And this makes it really easy to plug your Zoom or any of your virtual events into Splash and create a beautiful, branded, gated experience. Now, behind the scenes, this is a tool that handles your guest communication. It automates reporting back to your CRM and marketing tech platforms. It's quite versatile. And not to get too meta this early in the demo, but you are attending today and viewing using the virtual event page. How about that? So before we dive in too deep, Julie and I would love to hear from you. And I should handle some housekeeping. So if we lose internet connection at any point, hang tight. We'll be back up and running in a hummingbird's heartbeat. If you would like to view in a full screen, go for it. Maximize the slides, maximize us. There should be a little icon in the upper right that allows you to do so. If for some reason you'd prefer to view just in Zoom, scroll down just a bit. There is a View in Zoom button. If you would like to book a demonstration with somebody like Julie, head to this link on your screen. You could do that right now or anytime. We'll get back to you right away. And most importantly, and Julie told me before this is her favorite part, so Zach, save extra time. We have saved plenty of time for Q&A. So thank you for submitting your questions in advance. You can hit that Q&A button in Zoom early and often. We will do our very best to get to your questions either throughout the presentation, but definitely at the end. Okay. Let's take a look at the agenda. We are going to give you a quick overview of the challenge, the virtual event page, and Splash's overall virtual solution will help you solve. Then we're going to take a quick look at the attendee experience, which Julie is going to run us through. This is going to be really helpful context for when we get into item 3, our product demo. I'm going to keep it very virtual focused today and build a virtual experience with you based on the experience Julie shows us. And then as mentioned, Q&A, use that Q&A button in Zoom, and we will get back to you right away. All right, let's talk virtual events. So whenever I am speaking to a customer, potential customer, new Splash employee about whether it's Splash or a specific Splash piece of functionality, I always like to frame it from the perspective of what challenges is this solving for? And when it comes to Splash and virtual or just Splash and anything, we always really like to tackle everything from the lens of design, data, and scale. So Julie, from a design perspective, how would you apply that to the virtual event page that we're focusing on today?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost is people's inboxes are filled with all sorts of emails and links, right? Whether that be Teams or Zoom or Vimeo. And with Splash, we are always going to be an extension of your brand. So teams have the ability to create not just a white labeled landing page for attendees to register, but also a white labeled experience for someone to actually watch the live stream sitting, directly in Splash. So Zach, wow, these are beautiful. I love these. This is, again, our technology here. And being able to embed whatever provider of choice they're looking to, leverage within the Splash system.
Awesome. Well said, Julie, for sure. And we will definitely focus on the design aspect during the demonstration, because that is arguably the most important. However, for some, data as it applies to events, event marketing, or just virtual is equally as important. And I can take this one. So the way I like to frame this up is, one of the key reasons a lot of our customers join on with us is because we integrate so well with other systems, meaning your CRM, Salesforce, your marketing automation tech, HubSpot, Eloqua, you name it, right? Making sure your registration and attendance data is syncing to those systems. Tricky part with virtual, at least in the beginning, was not everybody knew who was on their Zoom events or their live streams, right? So maybe you have your registration, but that important check-in data that allows you to measure business impact is kind of just floating into the ether. So when we conceived this virtual solution, not only is your registration data going to find its way into your key systems, but the check-in process is fully automated, which means your guests are checked in Splash. You don't have to lift a finger. And even more importantly, upon that check-in, that data is finding its way back to your key systems, completely automated. I think that is a good segue to maybe our favorite one, which is scale. So Julie, what say you about scale?
Yeah, I love scale, and not the one in my bathroom, actually being able to scale events. I think for us, one of our key components is scale. And the reason for that is being able to create something once and have a playbook or a process for any time you have a new event, right? So all of the templates that you create in Splash are able to be duplicated, replicated for all of the different types of events you're hosting. And it's not just the landing page, right? It's the email comms around it. It's the social share card. It's the process for being able to embed that live stream provider directly into the system. So now, your boss says to you, hey, you have 2-week lead time to host a really important, event. You have all the tools, as Zach would say, to be great in your back pocket.
That's right. And if there's ever a beautiful example of scale, I mean, Julie and I were not the most tech savvy of the folks at Splash, and we're able to host this pretty seamlessly and give you a great experience every week. All right. Moving ahead, let's talk a little bit more about the virtual solution. So lots of logos on the screen here, which to me signals lots of compatibility. Plug into Splash, your tech, your choice. But let's break it down a bit. So when it comes to your key virtual platforms for video streaming, your Zooms, your YouTubes, your LinkedIn Live, Vimeo, of course, those are very easy to embed into the virtual event page you're seeing today. So while we're using a Zoom webinar, you could do a Zoom meeting, you could do a Vimeo event, any of these links on your screen, logos on your screen, which produce embed codes, can be easily embedded into that space. Now, something pretty cool is the idea of audience engagement tools. Slido is a very popular one, but you can see a growing list of logos here. These embeddable engagement tech that allow you to do icebreakers and Q&A and polling and gaming and word clouds and different activities can be embedded in the virtual event page alongside your primary virtual platform that we saw in the previous screen. So I like to call these the special sauce because these are ways of making your events really fun and interactive. So top logos, main, bottom logos, your engagement tools. Something also worth noting is, hey, Zach, hey, Julie, what if I use Microsoft Teams or Google Hangouts? I don't see those logos on here. What do I do? Right? And the answer is no problem. So if these platforms aren't embeddable, and not every virtual platform can be embedded, that's fine. You can use the experience that Julie's about to show you when we go through the attendee experience and actually link from your check-in screen and drop your guests right into those platforms. Really easy. These on the screen are just the ones that are readily embeddable. Okay. So Julie, speaking of attendee experience, this is the last step before we get into the demo and go into Q&A. So walk us through what an attendee can expect. This is something everybody has already gone through, and then we'll show them how to build it.
Yeah,
Step one is,
absolutely. The registration, right? Building that beautiful white labeled landing page template directly within Splash. This is where attendees would register or purchase a ticket, depending on the nature of the event, right? This is the exact same experience you experienced while registering for Zach's amazing webinar.
that's right.
Once once someone registers, you'll receive an email confirmation with a unique URL. This unique URL is a one-time use. So a question that I get asked about probably a million times a day is, how can we make sure that these events are private? Bingo, right? There's your answer. And you didn't even have to do anything. This does this automatically. This is the access link. So on the day of the event, someone will enter in through this link.
Yeah, let's smash cut to the day of the event. As everyone saw, I send out a few reminder emails, make sure everyone knows exactly where to go. This information is also on your calendar. And Julie, this contains the access link as well, right?
You got it. So let's say I'm eager. Hopefully you guys were super eager and joined this an hour early. I'm just kidding. I know if you're anything like me, you do back-to-back meetings all day and don't even have time to grab water, which is not great. So if someone has landed in the event, if you will, before the event has started, they will see something like this, which is what I would call a branded waiting room, right? Once the event has begun, they have the ability to then check in, right? So Zach, show us the check-in screen, please.
Of
There we
course.
are. So this is where teams have the ability to not just get registration data, but also check-in data. And I think, you know, one thing that I want to address here is sometimes brands are using tools that are not embeddable, like Teams. And I believe this was one of the questions that we just got asked in our Q&A. So this check-in button, if you're using something that is not embeddable, will then drop the attendee directly into the Teams experience. So you're still having this beautiful branded experience from entry point, and then of course, reg and check-in data all in one system. If they are using something that's embeddable, like Vimeo, Brightcove, YouTube Live, right? This is exactly what they will see. So this experience is their tech platform, streaming platform of choice embedded in Splash, also using Slido side by side. We love engagement, right? So that is the example that we've decided to use today. And for anyone who doesn't know, Slido is a tool for Q&A and live polling.
Well said, Julie. And then you mentioned the unique link, and I guess we should also point out the last screen, which is what happens if that link is shared, right?
Right. So if the link is shared, it will prompt them to re-register to the event. So again, making sure that only people who have registered for the event have access to this virtual event experience, if you will.
Awesome. Cool. So that is our attendee experience. We are going to focus on the latter parts of the virtual event page, the countdown screen, the check-in screen, the live stream, and the link you screen, how to design those out. If there's anything else you do want to see related to Splash, emails, the event landing page, I could definitely touch on those, but going to keep it nice and simple, focus on virtual, so we have plenty of time for Q&A. So let me exit out of this screen share quickly, and I'm going to switch on over. Okay. Julie, how am I looking? Am I in Splash?
I was looking at your hair. Yes, you're in Splash. You got
Okay,
it.
thank goodness. Listen, I've made the mistake, even though I've done millions of these, of sharing like my outline for the presentation. So I just want to be safe today. Okay. We are in Splash. I pre-created an event for us today called Cyber Strong Security Conference. This is a made up brand, by the way. I kind of mirrored it after Evernote in terms of colors and such, but thought it would be a good one. So this is the main screen of any event where I'm able to manage every aspect. So in the middle of your screen, we have our touch points, as we call them, the guest facing touch points, such as our event page, the registration form, the social share experience, our confirmations, if we're doing sessions, what that looks like. And then of course, the ability to add our virtual experience called the virtual event page, which I'll do in just a moment. To the left are our key tools, our guest list, our email sender, analytics, all of our key settings. So I'm going to add the virtual event page. This will appear in my touch points menu. And now I have my canvas here for building out the experience that Julie described. So worth noting, in the upper left, I have a drop down where I can get to my countdown. I can get to my check-in screen. I can get to my link you screen, and of course, my live screen, live stream screen. Wow. Okay. So what we're going to do in this space is, one, design the experience, and two, embed our virtual tech. So I'll start with the latter. I think Julie called out Vimeo. We love to embed Vimeo here. So I'm just going to go to the right, hit embed. And for Vimeo, I just need to enter in my Vimeo ID. If I want to enable chat, I can, and hit save. And the Vimeo ID is the events ID, which is found in that Vimeo events URL. Very easy to retrieve. And you could see that instantly embeds Vimeo with the chat. Let me just put my name in the chat here. And now our guests would be able to not just view the live event, but also start talking, right? So this is looking good. I'll show you how to embed some audience engagement and tinker with this just a bit. But now let's start playing with the experience just a little bit, because I'm not digging this teal background. So I'm going to go to page up top. I have my background colors. I could adjust that to black. I think that looks a lot better. However, we know from the examples we saw, this starts to really pop when we're using an image, right? So I'm going to use the upload function. I can upload any photo from my computer, of course. What I'll do today is I am going to have a little fun. I'm going to upload an animated GIF from Giphy. I know this is going to be a little bit busy, but I'm trying to have a little fun with our cyber theme here. So I'm going to search for the Matrix and find this cool thing right here. So you can see that really in a few seconds, we completely transformed the virtual experience there, right? From like that teal with a zero embed in the middle to Vimeo with chat with a really, I would say, unique experience. Now I'm just going to hit my logo. I want this to be a little bit bigger. That's looking good. Nice. So now what I'm going to do, now that I'm feeling good about the design, is I'm going to update this with a little bit of engagement, right? So I'm actually going to, for this event, I'm going to remove the Vimeo chat. And I want the experience to really be a combination of Vimeo plus Slido, which is an awesome tool for live polling, Q&A, chat, different activities, quizzes. It's really a blast. So let me just grab my embed code from Slido. It's like a simple 2-line embed code that you can copy right from the platform. So what I would do here is hit add embed and go to embed options. And I would just paste in my Slido embed code like this, hit save. And now Slido is right next to my Vimeo. So this is a very popular layout, that side-by-side view, but you can play with this a bit if you wanted to stack them on top of each other. But my personal favorite, what I've been doing lately, is the sidebar, where it's like really pinned to the right, so the Vimeo is looking nice and big. So that is an example. No tech assistance required. It takes just a few moments. If you can grab your Vimeo ID, and if you can grab your Slido embed code, you can build this experience in 3 minutes, right? So was there one last thing I wanted to show here? I'm trying to think. Oh, I just wanted to point out that, in Vimeo, that's a great one. For Zoom, whether it's a Zoom meeting or a Zoom webinar, all you need is your meeting or webinar ID right here. And for custom embed, whether it's Facebook Live, YouTube Live, LinkedIn, all those logos, you simply just paste in the embed code into the custom embed space, and it will appear instantly in the middle of your screen, just like we saw with Vimeo. It's meant to be extremely easy. Okay. My final step here would be, of course, going through my other screens. Let's say I want to hit my countdown, and I would be able to apply the branding and the design to each of these to make them exactly how I want them. But I'll spare you that. And today we will just focus on the live stream. Okay, let me save my changes. I will exit out of here, and we will get into our Q&A. Julie, any questions come in while I was demoing?
Yes. There are two questions that came in. I answered one, which is great. The other question, and Zach, maybe you can take this now. What is the Splash and Zoom experience like on mobile? Will it optimize for phones, tablets, etc.? And this is from an anonymous attendee.
I understand why you'd want to ask that one anonymously. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. Of course, yes, the Splash Zoom experience or anything that you see with the virtual event page, whether it's Vimeo, whatever you're embedding, is meant to look as you'd like it to, optimized for not just your web viewing screen, but or I should say desktop viewing, but tablet and mobile as well. That's a really good question. Okay. Some other stuff that's happening in the chat. I'll try to get to these. Robin asks, I am working on a flyer and I do not know how to send reminders to the guests. How do you send the template reminders? Well, that's a great question, Robin. While I'm here, I mean, this will take me 10 seconds. So let me just flip my screen share and I'll just jump back into the product really quickly to show you how this is done. So for this, I would go into my email tool and I would hit start creating and I would have access to all the templates that come with this theme. So I would select my reminder template right here. This is where you would customize that email design, imagery, text, whatever you want. I'll spare you from that. But the big thing that you want to be aware of when you're sending a reminder email, this is what I did today, is you go to recipients and you want to select the quick list for attending. This will be everybody who has registered for your event. And this will be super easy because you don't have to upload anything. Splash will calculate this for you. If you want to send a reminder to everybody you've invited but hasn't RSVP'd yet, like a one more chance to register, you would just select your awaiting reply list and it would email that segment instead. So those are all the predefined quick lists that Splash gives you to make those types of reminders really easy.
All right, okay. Zach. Q&A and chat is popping off. Next one from Pat. Hey, Pat, thanks for joining. Zach, I'm going to pass this one to you. If I have 6 different rooms presenting simultaneously, can this be done with Splash? Can the attendee select which room they wish to enter?
Great question. So if we're looking at this from a Zoom perspective, because this is usually the most common breakouts use case, Zoom breakouts is compatible with the virtual event page, Pat. That's great. Zoom has made some really great enhancements recently. Gallery view is possible in this. It's very, very seamless. The one little nuance, I actually emailed our friends at Zoom about this Friday, waiting to hear back. There's a slight difference, not to get too in the weeds, but thought you should know, when you're embedding Zoom versus when you're linking to Zoom. With the breakout experience, when you're linking to Zoom, guests can choose which breakout they want to attend. Within an embed, that choice is not there yet. So we're trying to determine when Zoom will be adding that functionality to their breakouts. But if you have any other questions about the specifics of breakouts and the event you're trying to run, just let me know and I'll follow up. Someone asked, Julie, will you show us the back end for communication? They asked that about a minute ago. Hopefully that was a useful answer that I gave you with the email sending tool and the ability to choose lists. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to see there. I will go into the chat now. Stephen asks, for the emails, can we copy and paste pure HTML code? Julie, do you know the answer to that one or would you like me to take it?
The answer is yes. Email sender, the world is your oyster. You can do a flyer, which I wouldn't recommend for deliverability purposes, but pure HTML code, Steve, absolutely.
Yeah, you can, Stephen. It also works in reverse, where if you design a Dynamite email in Splash, you can export it as HTML to put it into another platform if you prefer to send from there. But if you're using our email tool, absolutely, you can do a whole email with HTML, or maybe just like the HTML for your footer, which you might want to combine on to your main Splash email. So lots of different options there. Robin asks, can I add the flyer to LinkedIn or Instagram. Julie, I think Robin might be thinking of maybe the social share card that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. And Robin, correct us if we're totally wrong, but hopefully we're right. Yeah, absolutely. You get to design what I would call like a mini poster, right? And then being able to push that to different social channels to help promote registration. This might be, in the weeds a bit, but you also can create different tracking links. So if you want to understand who registered through that Instagram post or that LinkedIn, flyer, if you will, you can also track it via on the registration side as well.
Awesome. Frank asked, how does one start a virtual event to their Splash event page? And once the event is over, are the questions, comments left by the users accessible to see later? Yeah, so Frank, the beautiful thing here is from the host's perspective, you're leveraging your own technology, whether it be Zoom or Vimeo. So as a host, you don't have to do anything in Splash. You start the Zoom webinar in Zoom or the Vimeo live in Vimeo and just go about your hosting abilities. What's changing is where the guest is viewing and that viewing experience you're giving them. So for example, today, after this, I will log into Zoom. I will have all of the questions that you ask. I would have answers to all the polls. I'll have the recording. It's all in Zoom because I use Zoom. It's really a beautiful thing.
Zach, just a quick one.
Yes.
Can we show the team what gallery view looks like? I think we have a nice little slide.
Yes, we can. So this would be if you were using a Zoom meeting embed. The Zoom meeting allows for gallery. Let me just progress. Someone
Sorry,
asked
I'm
us
putting you on the
pre-submitted
spot.
questions. Yeah, my screen's still showing, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Cool. So this is an example when Zoom made some updates recently. We were testing out breakouts and gallery mode internally here, and we embedded it in the virtual event page. So yeah, it really looks amazing in the embed format, doesn't it, to have everybody on the screen. So this is great for your roundtables or for those types of events that you would use Meeting for, so your attendees can really be a part of the action.
Thanks, Zach. Really helpful.
Yeah. Any other questions we want to answer here? I know you've been answering some.
Yeah, I think, Zach, some people are asking about demos. If you can just put your unique link in the Q&A for those questions, that would be really, really helpful. That way they know exactly where to request.
Which unique link, Julie?
For the demo, requesting a demo.
Gotcha.
Yes. The one that you had, on the slide.
Yeah, let me probably make sense for me because I know we're about rounding up here. We got through our key questions. Sorry. So I will get to that just now. So can I plug some stuff really quickly? So I'm hosting a virtual event series that I'm really excited about. It's called Double Down on Virtual. We have 3 different events that are part of the series starting on February 25th and running weekly. So the first event I am hosting, it's called Create Virtual Events. People actually want to attend. We will have some guest panelists, notably from Slido, talking all about the best engagement tactics. Head to doubledown.splashthat.com to check out our hub. On March 4th, we are hosting an event called the Virtual Programming Jackpot. We also have some great guests for this. This is more designed for program leaders or program owners who want to hear about the best virtual programming strategies we've seen from the last year. And then finally, this one's more of a thought leadership one. We have the head of global events at Slack joining our VP of marketing for game-winning virtual engagement strategy. That is happening on March 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Again, head to doubledown.splashthat.com and register for any of the 3 events today. In terms of demos, you can request one here with someone like Julie. So head to splashthat.com/request-a-demo/Z. You can leave out the Z if you want, but that's my little referral link to see if I'm actually having an impact. The tracking link in Splash, a feature that you would have access to. So yeah, you can head here to request that demo. Otherwise, that's going to do it for today. So until next time, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid for now this is goodbye. On behalf of Julie and the entire Splash team, this is Zach saying mahalo. See you again next week.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.